My friend sold his company in the UK. It's a company everybody knows. I remember him saying to me at the time, it was in the middle of the pandemic, he'd got this big exit event. I think he'd made 300 million.
It's what I've been saying for the whole time.
He goes, I'm off. I go, where are you going? He goes, I'm going to go to Dubai and Monaco and live between the two. And I said to him, explain to me why. He goes, well, the amount of tax I'd have to pay in the UK is equivalent to me paying 20 million rent in the UK for the next 6 or 7 years, which he'd have to stay here for. So he went and he pops back in every now and then, but it meant that he could keep that 150 million, whatever tax he would pay, never had to pay it to the UK, is living this high-flying life now in Dubai, drops into Monaco every now and then. And I remember him saying to me, well, Steve, I'd have to pay 20 million rent a year to live here. And he went on to say, the UK product just isn't worth it. He goes, crime, I'm gonna get my Rolex robbed off me. He goes, the healthcare system isn't the best, the education system isn't necessarily the best, and the particular one was crime, which is I'll get mugged walking through London streets.
Stephen, if you allow British people who own £300 million of British assets to technically live in Monaco and not pay tax, then you will get crime, and you will have dirty streets, and you will have a bad healthcare system, and you will have education. Because if you give all of the wealth to a group of people who do not tax, there will be nothing left to provide things like healthcare and education for ordinary people. It's not unconnected.
These people are not technically living there, they're moving out. My friends have moved out of the country. They don't come back to the UK. They've left and they leave with their companies.
So they built a company here.
No, they
let
typically
them
build
leave
globally
and pay no tax.
They typically build globally business.
Okay.
It's not that they
Yeah,
pay...
it was a global business.
They don't pay no tax. They pay extortionate amounts of tax, right? Anyone who's here is paying extraordinary taxes, more than they've ever paid before. 1% pays 30%, 10% pays 60% of 1.2 trillion a year worth of government spending.
300 million, how much tax do you reckon he's paid in his life?
I have no idea. His business was global, though. His biggest customer was the US.
Because I pay 60%, and our viewers will pay 30, 40, 50%. Do you think it's fair that your 300 million guy pays his 2 or 3?
I have no idea what he pays.
Well, it sounds like he didn't pay 50%.
Well, he went before he got the tax bill.
But why do we allow it? Why do we allow it? I'm not allowed to not pay my tax.
What could you have done to...
You are allowed to. When you were in Japan, you wouldn't have paid UK taxes.
Yeah, because I was working in Japan, and then I paid Japanese taxes.
Yeah, because you're living in Japan. This is the thing. People can live wherever they want now. So,
but we're talking about, I think we should stop obfuscating tax on people's work from tax on the assets that they own.